So I've decided to come up with a couple more trends that we are all tired of seeing and hearing. Some of these are trends that the automakers do, and the rest are just trends that we as the community do ourselves. Nobody is safe. I'm going for literally everyone. You guys did send some very good suggestions in for this video, so I'm sure this is gonna be a fun one to make. Join the Discord, link in bio. And at the moment, I am feeling a little bit sick. I just ate some eggs and I have no idea what was in those eggs. But if I'm not as I typically am, that's why. So I'm sorry about that. Beginning with the silly trend done by specifically truck drivers, we have when they have lifted trucks that have never seen an ounce of dirt before. I'm gonna try and make this video not just about mods, because I already have a whole vid I made covering stupid mods. But this isn't about the mod itself, the lifted truck. It's about the fact that the people who lift these trucks don't use it for their intended purposes, which is of course off-roading. So I did a little research, and apparently people pay up to $12,000 for these. Hey, maybe some people for real got motion like that, and maybe this isn't a problem for them, but I personally don't understand. Obviously, you can argue that it's for aesthetic purposes and all that, and yeah, I guess beauty is a subjective topic after all, but me personally, I'm personally not a fan of it. It's like a ricer but for trucks. Does that make sense? I don't know, but let's just move on to the next topic. And that topic is when people make 0 to 60 seem way more important than it actually is. In the real world, 0 to 60s are almost as useless as top speed. Yeah, pulling up to a traffic light for a quick little 1, 2, 3 race is fun, but realistically, those 0 to 60 runs are highly favored by certain cars and don't mean anything at all. Just because your all-wheel drive Stinger GT beats a Hellcat on a dig doesn't mean it's faster than a Hellcat or it's the better car. You'd think it's common sense, but you'd be surprised how many silly people just spew arguments like this. Yeah bro, what's the 0 to 60 on that bad boy? It's about 4 seconds. 4 seconds? That thing must be slow. It's like talking to a little kid. Realistically, most races will take place on the freeway because it's generally the safest place to do it. At that point, all that matters is how long your car takes to get up to speed, nothing else. Big races on unprepped surfaces prove nothing because half the time it's going to be an unfair race. A car could be significantly faster, but just because it lights up its tires, it automatically becomes an unfair race. Again, this should be common sense, but the community seems to lack that half the time. 0 to 60 isn't as important as you think, so just stop putting it on a pedestal that, ooh, all cars need a time of 3 seconds to be competitive. No, just stop. That's all. Next, I want to talk about something that automakers are starting to do more and more, and absolutely nobody asked for it. And that's artificial exhaust and engine noises through speakers. Yeah, this is most common with electric cars, but I did see a video, I'm pretty sure it was like a car wow video. Apparently the new 4-cylinder C63, which is already a questionable car, has artificial noises from the cabin. And this just makes no sense to me. Every automaker just wants to be so boring now, and the emission laws are just killing cars as we know it, and it's just kind of sad. If Mercedes can go from sounding like this to this, I just can't imagine what would be 10 years from now. The thing about these speakers is that most of them don't even sound a tad bit realistic. Like, let's go back to talking about the electric cars for a second, specifically the Dodge Charger Daytona. I'm sure you've all heard it before, but here's a quick recap of what the engine sounds like. Yeah, it sounds nothing like an actual engine. If they wanted to add speakers, at least give us the sound of like a previous Hemi generation or something. Don't make the car sound like a helium balloon and call it a day. This is probably one of the only trends on this list that I hope actually doesn't become a popular thing. I mean, it technically is at the moment, but I just think it gotta stop. Nobody wants their car to be louder on the inside than on the outside. Nobody does, Mercedes. Staying on the topic of electric cars, I've always wondered why many electric cars have the strangest design that you ever see. I'm sure automakers just want that futuristic look, because when you think of electric cars, you think of the future, right? And innovation and things like that. But 80% of the time, these designs are hideous. It's to the point where I'm starting to believe that Teslas are one of the most normal looking electric cars. Obviously not the Cybertruck, but you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I just Googled it, and apparently they look that way for aerodynamic purposes. But this also doesn't make sense to me, because do you really need to design your car to look like a fish just for aero? There's plenty of good looking gas cars that have very good aerodynamics, and they don't look like it got dropped on its head. EVs are just more ugly than they are good looking, and that's just fact. Especially the more accessible EVs. That's what I noticed. It sells well because the demographics who buy these cars could care less about how it looks. As long as it could get them from point A to point B efficiently, they're sold. But when more pronounced brands do this though, like taking the route of making electric cars look weird, the people buying these cars tend to care less because those demographics know exactly what they're looking for in a car. That's why you see that Porsche's electric cars still have that sporty modern look that many people love, and the Taycan sells pretty good. trend. Porsche knows exactly what they're doing, but Mercedes doesn't. They try that futuristic look and it isn't received well by the population. With a quick Google search, you'll see that the Taycan sold extremely well, and even tying its previous record when it comes to yearly sales. The Mercedes EQS, on the other hand, sold less than 40% less than the previous year, and that should tell these companies something. I have no idea why everyone is in such a rush to live in the future, but it's silly. And Mercedes in general is just killing their whole brand as a whole. It's just extremely sad to see. Maybe I should make a video on that. I probably will. But before we move on to the next trend, I do want to tell you guys about our sponsor for today's video, LastFit. So they did send me their all-weather mats for my Honda Accord, and jokes aside, this was an upgrade that I never knew I needed until I installed them. Side by side with the OEM mats that came with my Accord, the visual difference alone is huge. But I'm telling you, it's not only the visual difference that makes these mats such a huge upgrade over the OEM. LastFit uses 3D scanning technology to capture every single corner and crevice and make sure that your mat will fit perfectly edge to edge for your car. And I can actually testify to this as well. They slid right into place without me having to do much. They also use environmental friendly TPE materials while creating these, so if you care about that sort of stuff, that's something you should know. Like I said earlier, these mats are all weather, so yes, they would hold up in any season, whether it's rain, slush, mud, snow, you name it, it would hold up. They will keep your car and shoes spotless. But you want to know what my favorite part about these mats is though? It's how easy it is to clean compared to the old mats that my Honda Accord came with. The material in the original mat that the Accord came, I'm gonna just show you because I have it right here, 1 second. Okay, so these are the original mats. As you can see, if anything gets on this mat, it's going to be a pain to clean. Like you could just tell by the material. Let's say you get like food on there or something. It's going to be next to impossible to clean. You're gonna have to take it to a detailer, steam clean it, do all that. But with the LastFit mats, you don't have to do any of that. All you need to do is rinse it with the hose and dry it with a cloth. It's that simple. Make sure you check out their website and the link to get your mats now. The next one was suggested so many times, but it was just in multiple different variations. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the corny TikTok edits. This is a trend that unfortunately would never die because there's way too many variations of it. The worst one that has surfaced recent internet has to be the troll face edit. Yeah, I'm sure many of you guys saw this coming. And if you guys don't know what the troll face edit is, it's like they have a car with a type of music called funk, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea why I'm trying to explain this when I could just show you a video. So let me just stop talking. Just watch this. If I show you the clip and the video is mute, I got copyrighted. So don't point it out in the comments, okay? Nah, no way anybody above the age of 13 looks at videos like that and thinks it's hard. If you do, lock in, because that's gotta be the corniest video I've watched this year. The edits range from the infamous "is that a Supra" edit, or you know that one edit where it's like 911, what's your emergency? I hear shots. Ma'am, calm down, what type of shots? Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I have no idea why I just acted that out instead of just playing the clip for you, but where's the fun in that? Anyways, all those edits gotta stop. Even though I know they won't, one can only hope. The worst one for sure though are the troll face edits. I'm pretty sure this edit isn't just exclusive to cars. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on Fortnite and soccer edits and things like that. It doesn't matter what the topic is, and the reason I say these trends will never go away is because for some bizarre reason, these videos get millions and millions of views. Like there's a whole audience who likes watching this, especially with how TikTok just pretty much throws money at these creators. You have people making an actual living off these edits. Hey, I can't knock the hustle. Don't hate the player, but hate the game. I've had enough brain rot for one day though, so let's move on to a rather interesting trend. And I don't think it's really a trend considering there's only one culprit, but you know that one girl that gets on nice cars like Huracans and GT3 RS and just starts dancing and jumping on it? This is living proof of what clout can do to a person. But hey, whatever pays the bills, right? Nah, there's no way the bills are actually this high. You mean to tell me in this day and age, people can get away with destroying cars that people only ever dream to own and make a living out of it? I know for the last trend, I said don't hate the player and hate the game, but I think in this exact scenario, I might hate the player. Nah, let me stop before I get packed up. Okay, let me explain what she does briefly, and then I'm gonna roll the clip so you can get a little more understanding of what I'm talking about. So she pretty much gets a nice car with the money she makes from you know what. She gets these cars and her only purpose is to destroy them. She climbs on top of the car and runs up the windshield to the rooftop and does a silly dance. I'm pretty sure one of those times she actually broke the windshield and that just hurt my soul. But here, I'm gonna just show you the clip. Yeah, honestly, she's mastered rage baiting. I really never understood why people want to get clout by being hated by the community. Like, to be honest, I'd rather be a regular person than having clout for the wrong reasons. It's so stupid to me, but again, whatever pays the bills, right? Anyways, moving on to a trend that's extremely specific to a niche group of people, but it's when Mopar owners have that little decal on the side of their cars, whether it's a scat, a Hellcat, or even a demon. This one really isn't that bad. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it at all, but damn, can we be a little more creative? It's like as soon as you get a Hellcat, you need to purchase the decal unless your car won't start. Every single person has this. Like, it doesn't hurt to be just a little different. I promise you, it won't. I'm sure the badge in the front, the back, and the two sides of the car tell us all we need to know. Nice, you have a Hellcat. I'm not sure why we need to be reminded again for the 6th time on the sides of your car what car you drive. We know, we could tell. Again, this one is sort of an acquired taste, but it does get annoying seeing it over and over again. It's like having the same class setup on Call of Duty or having the same face scan on 2K. Be different. But I do want to talk about one more trend that's extremely prominent with Mopar owners, specifically Scat Pack owners. The "it's an SRT" people. You guys want to make a Scat Pack owner mad? Tell them that their car isn't an SRT. But make sure you got life insurance though, because there's no telling what they'll do to you. Scat Pack owners will for real risk their freedom just to prove that their car is an SRT. And you want to know what their argument is? The engine bay says powered by SRT and the brakes say SRT on them. It's such a flimsy argument. With a 5-second Google search, you can literally find out that no, Scat Packs are indeed not SRTs. I could just imagine all the Scat owners watching this right now and just fell to their knees after hearing that, but I'm sorry. Hey, at least Scats are clean. They sound good. They look great. They're fast for what you get. They're great cars, so just be happy with what you have. Stop calling your Scat Packs SRTs because I promise you, no one is going to knock you for owning a Scat. They are good, respectable cars. So after all that, what did we learn? Scat Packs are powered by SRTs, but they are not SRTs. I'm glad we got that out the way, so let's move on. You know one trend that I have no idea why people do? It's when they get aftermarket speakers, right? Like they get the subwoofers, the aftermarket speakers, but it's literally just bass, nothing else but bass. Like you can't even hear any vocals, it's only bass. This one isn't crazy, but it's just something I've always personally thought of. Maybe some people just don't like to hear the artist. I assume you can turn the setting off in most speakers, but I have a friend whose truck has this mod and there's nothing you could do to turn it off. I asked him, I was like, yo, don't you get headaches from all this bass? And he said he does, but there's nothing he could do about it. And that's crazy to me. But again, who am I to judge? I just think it's silly. But it's for sure not as silly as when people modify their cars cosmetically and leave the stock wheels on. This one was suggested by someone in the cord, so if that was you, shout out to you, but I 100% agree with you. It's a general rule of thumb that one of the first cosmetic mods that you do on a car are the wheels. And yes, there's really people out there who do everything else but the wheels. This one is sort of understandable if you have a car that comes with nice, decent stock wheels. This isn't targeted towards you then. If you have a Porsche, go ahead, don't touch the wheels. This is for the Honda people who do every single cosmetic mod but then leave the stock wheels. I don't know what I just tried to say, but yeah. But now I'm kind of curious. What do you guys do when you first get a car? What are the first main purchases that you do to your car when you first get it? If you don't have a car, you can still answer. Just make it a hypothetical situation. Me personally, I feel like when I get my first sports car, my must-do purchases will be wheels, a radar detector, and ceramic tints. Those are my no-brainers. What are you guys' no-brainers? I think we have 3 more to go over, so I'm just gonna go extremely quick because I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. But the next corny trend is when little kids think it's aesthetic to go out in a fiery crash. You're cringe. Grow up. Your life isn't a movie, buddy. I'm sure you'd be screaming for your life if you spun out while going 160 miles per hour. No, you won't have a smile on your face, and no, you won't be happy. You'd be scared. So stop romanticizing car crashes and grow up, because it's weird. Next, we have when people glaze cars that have no tested times or speeds. Let's just name a few of these cars that get this treatment. We have the Jesko Absolute when it comes to top speed. We have the Bugatti Bolide. We have the Mercedes T80. We have the Dodge Tomahawk. We have the Tesla Roadster. There's so much more left, but I don't think it would be ideal to spend the next 5 minutes just naming cars. I never understood why these fans talk so much when the car literally hasn't even backed it up yet. Just let the car do the talking and be quiet. And no, the Bugatti Bolide can't take turns at 200 miles per hour. Yes, I've read that somewhere before. Do you understand how much level of downforce that car would need to do that? That's slightly better than F1 level, and I doubt Bugatti is ever going to make a car with that level of engineering. I just said the word level 3 times in 5 seconds. I'm cooked. fucked. But quit being delusional, you people. Finally, I want to end it on one that I've been advocating for these past few months, and that's overhating an overrated car. You probably think that doesn't make any sense, but let me break it down further for you. Let's use the Lexus LFA for example. About last year, the LFA got pretty overhyped because of the fact it sounded good. Everyone started calling it the greatest car ever, the LFA could do this, the LFA could do that. But then as time went on, people started to realize that the LFA really isn't what you pay for, you know? And then that came the hating wave, where everyone just completely full 360 switched and just started hating on the car. It was to the point where people were just like, the car is bad, it sounds terrible, and realistically, we all know that's not true. We all love the LFA and we'll take it in a heartbeat over many of the cars that it competes with. Just the fact that many people are sheep in the community, that's just exactly what it is. They go with the general consensus rather than forming an opinion on their own. So if a statement came out saying that the Kia K5 is overrated, everyone would hop on that train saying that the Kia K5 is trash, and therefore that would make the Kia K5 overhated. I'm not sure if I explained that well, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. Just stop being a follower and try to think for yourselves. So these are just a few trends that us as a community and the automakers do. I try not to include any trend related mods because I already made a whole video covering mods that are terrible and mods that I don't like, so I don't want to be redundant. If you do want to check out that video though, it should be popping up anywhere on the screen right now, so click on that. Make sure to join the Discord and take it easy, my friends.